Hey, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, animes, TV shows, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. So before we get into today's video, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was on the Ego Pyramid podcast. There, I talked about my YouTube channel, my TikTok, the dilemmas of creating content I like versus content I know get clicks and engagement, and so much more. I will have a link to the podcast in my description box below, as well as a pinned comment if you would like to check it out. I would really appreciate it because the creator of the Ego Pyramid podcast is a really good friend of mine. I would really appreciate if some of you guys would go over there and support him in what he is doing. And today we're going to talk about some of the major headlines to come out of the Olympics and, give my thoughts and opinions on all of these separate situations and things like that. Probably one of the biggest headlines coming out of the Olympics is the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson will not be going to Tokyo this year. Now, Sha'Carri's whole story has kind of entranced all of us who've seen her, because for those of us who don't watch track and field, this was the first time that we saw her, and she definitely had a chokehold on us. Everything about her was so amazing, from her being unapologetically herself, her being queer, her having tattoos, her having these acrylics, like super long acrylics, and then having these beautiful, colorful wigs. It was just something about Sha'Carri that just had us all. It made us all want to root for her. And all of us who are not a part of DARE are still supporting and rooting for Sha'Carri. Now, what had happened, if you are unaware, which I doubt you're not, if you do track and field, you do any sports like that, you get randomly drug tested, right? And Sha'Carri was drug tested, and they found weed in her system, and because of that, she was suspended for a month. And because of that, the suspension is during Tokyo, so she will not be able to attend. Now, when this news had first broke, white media was trying to make it seem like steroids were found in Sha'Carri's system. I don't know if y'all peeped that, but I did. When white publications were talking about it, they were making this not fully saying it, but insinuating that there was steroids in Sha'Carri's system, which I'm not surprised, because white people just seem to not understand that they're not good at everything. And so when they find someone better than them, they like to try to kind of tarnish their names. Is what white media does to black athletes a lot. Then we later found out it was weed. Now, there's two sides of me in this situation. There is the logical side of me, and there is the emotional side of me. The emotional side of me finds this to be bullshit. I find it stupid. I view most weed laws to be archaic and purposeful in the punishment of black and brown people. I just view any really harsh laws on weed are just old-fashioned, and they're there to hurt people and not protect anybody. Sha'Carri actually ended up going on the Today Show. There, she took full accountability of her actions, stating that she knows for a fact that she's an Olympic athlete and she is subjected to drug testing, and her smoking weed was very dumb of her to do. And I'm really happy that she took accountability. For as young as Sha'Carri is, to be able to recognize that, no, this was my fault. I fucked up here, and didn't point the blame at anyone else, but took full accountability. I think that's very commendable. Now, during this interview, she explained to us the reason why she ended up smoking, and the reason is during an interview, the interviewer felt it was, I guess, their place to tell her that her mother had passed away and ask for, I guess, a comment. Now, that interview was the first time that Sha'Carri had heard about her mother's passing. And so to cope with her mother's death, as well as the stress of, the upcoming race, she smoked. I refuse to attack someone for the way they cope with a parent's death. When you're as young as Sha'Carri is, losing a parent could definitely rock your world and devastate you. And I feel like the fact that she only smoked weed, when a lot of people would have done a whole lot more. And I can't believe that this interviewer felt like that was an appropriate question, but I'm 90% sure that the interviewer was white, and white people don't care about black people's pain, so I'm also not surprised about that. Again, my emotional side and my logical side are in two completely different places, because my emotional side is like knowing what we now know and the reason why she smoked. Emotionally, I feel like she should be allowed to run. And I think they said that she could run, but she couldn't run in the 100 meter, which is what she's trained for and what she's her specialty. So I feel like her running in any other event is a waste. Also, like, the Olympic team has the athletes for those specific events already. Okay. But yet, like, emotionally, I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like, she smoked because her mother passed. And again, like, there is no link to smoking weed and being a better athlete. So I feel like when you have people who are in the Olympics doing steroids and getting away with it, but this one girl who smoked weed to kind of cope with her mother passing and the stress, she gets suspended. That don't feel right to me. Now, the logical side of me is aware of the fact that she gambled with her opportunity, an opportunity not a lot of other young black people get. And she knows that they get drug tested. I've been friends with like track athletes. They get drug tested randomly a lot, right? Like, they're constantly being monitored and checked. And I feel like you can only be in control of your own actions, and her action, her choice to smoke weed was a very bad one and very dumb one. It doesn't stop the fact that, like, emotionally, I think this is wrong, but logically, the Olympics do have rules. As archaic and outdated as those rules may be, rules are still unfortunately rules. I do feel like if, like, the U.S. stood by Sha'Carri, she probably could get her suspension lifted, but I doubt that's gonna happen. It should happen. I feel like, because if the U.S. wants a really good chance of beating, Jamaica at the 100 meter, they need Sha'Carri there, but I don't know. I don't know. It would be very smart to be like, none of our athletes are gonna run if you don't let her run. But I don't think they're gonna do that. The whole situation sucks because, yes, rules are rules, and Sha'Carri is aware of the fact that, again, could be randomly drug tested at any moment. But it still is just like weed. Like, it's just, I feel like when you think of the fact that there's so many like dispensaries, depending on where you live, there's probably 5-6 dispensaries in your area. There's so many states that weed is legalized in, and then here are the Olympics with these old ass rules that don't, again, there is no real science to prove that, like, her smoking weed or any track athlete smoking weed would actually, like, benefit them in any way, shape, or form. Now, I saw a lot of people trying to compare Sha'Carri's situation to Michael Phelps, and I feel like those two situations are very apples to oranges. If you're unaware, some years back, after the Olympics, a photo of Michael Phelps smoking weed out of a bong started circulating. That picture was taken of him without his knowledge, and then someone tried to use that to extort Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps said, "No, I don't give you no money." The photos got released. Now, people were saying that, like, oh, he had his weed situation, he was still able to do the Olympics. Those pictures came out after the Olympics, and as well as when he was drug tested for the Olympics, no weed was found in his system. So how could he have not been able to compete? There were no drugs in his system. The photo happened after the Olympics. He was then suspended for 3 months, and then when his suspension was lifted, it was lifted in a timely enough manner for him to go to nationals, right? So people were saying that, like, Michael Phelps' situation was so easier, people were fine with it. I think people forget that, like, the very positive, connotation surrounding weed is a newer concept and is more towards now than it was years ago. Years ago, you smoked weed, you was a terrible fucking person, okay? The streets ain't like you if you was caught smoking weed. And when this photo circulated, Michael Phelps lost a bunch of sponsorships, including his weedy sponsorship. Sha'Carri has lost none of her sponsorships. Nike has been very adamant with the fact they're going to continue to sponsor her and continue to back her, which I think is amazing for her, and she deserves that. But this idea that, like, Michael Phelps didn't really face any consequences is not true. Like I said, he was suspended for 3 months. It just so happened that when he was suspended, it was like 6 months before nationals, so he could compete for nationals. Sha'Carri's situation is, unfortunately, they found the weed in her system too close to going to Tokyo. Next, we're going to talk about everything that is happening with the company SoCap. If you do not know who SoCap is, they are a company that makes swimming caps for Black people. They're big enough to fit locks, afros, weaves, everything. Because I feel like that directly plays into the fact that not a lot of Black kids swim because of the regular swim caps being as tiny as they are. I don't know if you've ever tried to put on like a swimming cap as a Black person. It is impossible. If you have any amount of hair on your head, it is not gonna fit. Your hair coarse and coily, no. I feel like I could probably fit one puff in one of the regular swimming caps. So Soul Caps make swimming caps for Black people, and I feel like that's a great way to get more Black kids to swim. Because I definitely feel a contributing factor to why more Black kids don't swim is the fact that we don't have the proper gear. Because do you remember, like, as a kid not getting in the water because you didn't want to get your hair wet? It didn't matter if you wore your hair natural. It didn't matter if you straightened your hair. It didn't matter if you had a relaxer. You did not want to get your hair wet and deal with what you had to deal with when you got back home. And a lot of that stress and anxiety would have been alleviated if we had swimming caps that would actually fit our heads. Because the other swimming caps, if you can get them on your head, just slip right on off. Again, that's if you can get it on your head. Low caps actually applied for their caps to be certified to be able to be worn at competitions. Their applications were then rejected, surprise, surprise, and they were told that their caps were unsuitable because it did not follow the natural form of the human head. That is what the people told them. SoCap said they were also told, best knowledge, that athletes competing at international events never use, neither required to use, caps of such size and configuration. And so of course not, because all the other athletes are white. But right now we have like a lot more Black swimmers coming up. I feel like in these recent years, like Black people getting into swimming has increased and increased. So of course, the white ass athletes from before didn't need a swim cap like that. But now you have Black swimmers who do need caps like this. And I just find it really interesting that it's just like, we don't care about the niggas. Okay, all the white people before don't need it, but it's like, that was then, this is now. I really do feel like they were just doing that as a fuck you to Black people. Again, okay, so I have like this running theory about like sports and how specific sports will allow Black people in, like track, like football, like basketball and soccer, and then like the sports that are viewed as more like elegant sports, like swimming, like ballet, like gymnastics, like figure skating, purposely try to keep Black people out and things like that, right? It's my little tin hat conspiracy, and I feel like them not allowing for this SoCap to be certified is pushing that narrative of wanting to keep Black swimmers out. Because again, that's why a lot of us don't swim, is because we were told don't get your hair wet. Because again, I do believe not having the proper gear is what has stopped a lot of Black kids from swimming, because the not wanting to get your hair wet, well then I guess I'm not swimming, you know? And I feel like this is very much so denying the certification of this swimming cap. It doesn't do anything. This is the thing. This swimming cap is not going to make Black swimmers swim faster than they already swim. It's not going to give them a competitive edge. It's just going to allow more access to swimming for more Black people. Because no way, shape, or form in any of these documents did they state that like there was any actual advantage to Black swimmers having the soul caps to begin with. Next, I want to talk about the Namibian sprinters that were banned from running the 400 at the Olympics because they have naturally high testosterone levels. So some women have hyperandrogenism. If you don't know what that is, essentially all that is excessive levels of testosterone. Now, when it came out that these women were being banned for testosterone levels being too high, that is when the uneducated people came through with their transphobia. Side tangent, this is why I believe black women, especially dark-skinned black women, should not participate in transphobia, because it very easily comes back towards us. That's a whole nother video that y'all not ready for. Now, the transphobia started, and I'm going to break this down as easily as I can, because I know ninth grade biology was very hard for a lot of us. Men and women both have testosterone and estrogen. It does not matter whether you're a cis man or cis woman, you have both testosterone and estrogen. Now, the levels vary to person, and there are hundreds of women walking around with higher levels of testosterone than estrogen and don't even know it. Because to find out if you have higher levels of testosterone, that is something that you need to be tested for. Your pediatrician is not checking your child's testosterone estrogen levels. And none of these women who were banned knew they had higher levels of testosterone. Their parents didn't know, their doctors didn't know, their coaches didn't know. Nobody knew until they were specifically tested for this. Now, in 2019, a rule was passed by the governing body of World Athletics, basically making a cap on the level of testosterone a woman can have if she's competing from the 400-meter to a mile races. Again, this is why it's so dumb for black women to subscribe to transphobia, because these women are cisgendered women. They were born women. They have all the bits necessary to biologically be considered women, but they just have higher levels of testosterone. And the thing is, many women have hormone imbalances, and you are still a woman. The level of testosterone and estrogen you have does not stop you from being a woman. The same way a man having higher levels of estrogen does not stop him from being a cisgendered man. Now, while I'm speaking about this, I do not want to hear any transphobia in my fucking comment section. I am not in the mood to deal with you, and I simply am going to block you. We don't do transphobia here. We are speaking on facts and facts alone. These are not transgender women. They are cisgender women with high levels of testosterone. Many cisgendered women have high levels of testosterone. Y'all gotta have to move past that, because these women are not being categorized as women for something so fucking simple as high levels of testosterone. Again, any number of us, of cisgender women, can have high levels of testosterone. And again, a lot of you do have it and have no idea, because you have to be tested for it, because outside of checking the level, it doesn't really affect you much. Like, at the most, you might be able to build more muscle. You might have more facial hair than the average woman, but women have facial hair all the time. So, like, it doesn't really affect anything. Again, the purposeful disclassification of these women being women is solely because they're black women. Because there are so many white women in the Olympics with high levels of testosterone, not, again, cisgender women, and y'all don't go this hard to refer to these women as trans when they're not. They're not. Again, you can be cisgender and have higher levels of estrogen, higher levels of testosterone. Those things barely matter. It does not affect your ovaries. It doesn't affect any of that. You're still a woman, just with higher levels of testosterone. Now, these women were given the option of taking, like, various different, like, hormone suppressants, which I'm very happy those women said no to, because who knows what that could do to their body. There was another female track runner who she opted to get surgery, and like they take the gland out, and she has not been the same as an athlete. So I'm very happy those women were like, I'm not going to suppress what my body naturally creates. Like, again, these women are being punished for something their body naturally creates. I would get if these women were like doping or like taking testosterone, but they're not. This is what their body naturally creates, and we're punishing them for that. Again, they're being punished for genetics, which I find so interesting to me, because the Olympics is filled with people who are genetically more low-key advanced than the fucking rest of us. Like, I can't do what any of these Olympic athletes can do because they've won the genetic lottery to have natural bodies that are better than everyone else's. So I find it really interesting that this one thing, this one genetic thing is like, no, 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 no. And again, we're only doing this to female athletes. Female athletes get punished for, again, black female athletes get punished for their genetics. Because now this is a great time to bring up Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps has always been celebrated for his genetic advantages against his competitors. This man's arms are unnecessarily long. His wingspan is 6.66 feet or 2.03 meters long. Phelps has less lactic acid in his body. If you do not know what lactic acid is, the easiest way that I can explain it is that burning feeling you feel in your muscles when you're working out. He doesn't have that feeling, right? So he can push himself far beyond other athletes because he doesn't have that natural resistance, that pain you feel when you push yourself too hard. He also has extremely flexible joints. I think he's like double jointed in his feet on top of that. And the thing is, these things separately, other athletes might have like one or two of these things, but like Michael Phelps' body is literally designed to be a swimmer. You couldn't make a better swimmer's body in a fucking lab, okay? Because it's the extremely long arms, the extremely long legs, the flexible joints, being double jointed in his feet, the extremely short torso that makes this man like basically aerodynamic. And again, these are all advantages against other competitors that he genetically has. Like, he is genetically dispositioned to just be the best swimmer. And he has never been punished, and he never will be punished. He gets to be genetically superior to his competitors, and no one has a problem with it. And these women just have a higher level of testosterone. Again, something their body naturally does. I guess to them it's too big of an advantage, but again, Michael Phelps, a human fucking fish. It just genuinely feels like black women athletes are not allowed to be better than their competitors. If we're better than our competitors, we're cheating, right? We have an advantage. It's unfair. You have to level the playing field. And I'm just like, this is the Olympics. I get leveling the playing field when it comes to taking like steroids and like testosterone and stuff like that. I get that, right? That's unfair. But we have people who are here for being exemplary. These are athletes. These are people who are better than the average person. The fucking X-Men, right? But we're going to punish people for being better. Okay. As well as the fact that, like, these are just like 3 situations that came out of the Olympics. There are definitely more, and there are a lot of black women this year who are suspended and will not be participating in Tokyo. And it's just like, it felt like in the span of like 72 hours, all of this stuff came out, and there's still more black women getting banned. Like, I think it's like it's officially official that these Namibian athletes are officially suspended. Like, they will not be participating at all. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think this is weird. Like, the Sha'Carri situation is completely separate to the rest of these, but it's still like a lot of black women not going to the Olympics who deserve it. These optics, they don't look good. It feels purposeful. Because again, I've never seen so many people suspended from the Olympics before in my life. Okay, that's it for my video. What are you guys' thoughts and opinions on the whole situation? Do you think athletes should be penalized for their genetic advantages at the Olympics? What are your guys' thoughts and feelings on the whole Sha'Carri situation? Are you dealing with the emotional versus like logical aspects like I am? What are your thoughts on the whole soul cap situation? Also, again, check me out on the Ego Pyramid podcast. I will have that linked in my description box below, as well as a pinned comment. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.